All right, good morning, everyone. Please let me know if this thing is too loud. I've got it turned up a little bit to make it easier to hear. Welcome to our first meeting of the month of September, 14th day. It is 9 o'clock, and we're going to begin with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance, if you'll join me. Heavenly Father, we praise you for a beautiful new day and for a break in the heat and for the deliverance of some rain last week, in which we just enjoy the fall as it switches over. We ask now that you would preside over this meeting, give us the guidance and direction that we need to make these decisions. We have a variety of things to cover, Lord, and we ask your direction on each. We thank you for your provision for this county. We thank you for the leaders that commit their time and for the taxpayers that support the continuation of the activities of this county and all the other taxing entities that are here within Titus County. Help us to make best use of these monies. We pray for our servicemen and women abroad or wherever they may be, that you would protect them, keep them safe, return them home. We turn it over to you now, and once again praise you for the day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everybody had a chance to fill out a public speaking form if they would like? Do I have any of those? Okay. Let me begin with item number one, and I'll make this brief. I had a comment by our clerk that she was having a hard time hearing, so I'm going to ask that you just maintain silence to the best of your ability here. Communicate writing or lip syncing or whatever you need to do, but let's try to keep it quiet so that everybody else back there in the audience can hear. I've tried to elevate the volume here on our microphones. If they start conflicting with the other mics, we may have to turn it down. Commissioners, I'll remind you to have your mics close to you so that we can not only get it recorded properly, but so that everyone in the audience can hear everything that's going on. And those of you at the table as well, Carl, if y'all will make the best use of those microphones. Item number two, public comments or requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with Section 551.042 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. I don't have anybody that specifically filled out a form to speak. Is there anyone that would like to address the court on in general or anything else? All right, item number three, consider and possibly approve minutes from our August 24th, 2015 special meeting of the Commissioners Court.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes, August 24th.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton. Second. Second by Commissioner Parker. Joyce, thank you for preparing those and making those adjustments that we had agreed upon. All those in favor of approval of the minutes from our last meeting, August 24, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number four, consider and possibly approve participating with the City of Mount Pleasant for a Texas Parks and Wildlife grant application. Who's the best one to address this, Mike or Al? Okay. Welcome, Mike Ahrens, our City Manager.
The City of Mount Pleasant is getting ready to apply for a Texas Parks and Wildlife grant in the amount of $500,000 to build a new park in the soccer complex. Deadline's October 1st.
Pull that mic around. There you go.
Part of this process is that they add up points. It's very, very competitive, and whoever has the most points gets funded. So we looked at how the point structure works and tried to get the most points in that.
Let me stop you there. Are those turned on?
Yes.
They are. Very good.
One way that we can add points is by having cooperation from other governmental entities. So, and we've done this before. I think Mike has been involved a couple of times, but what we're asking the county to do is to commit, and I think you have a letter in your packet, but it's in time, labor, materials, and equipment up to $100,000 as a contribution to our grant application to the building of the park. That work can be on the same thing. It can be clearing land, it can be helping build roads, parking lots, that kind of thing. At this point, it's just a matter of getting the grant application in, getting those points, so hopefully we'll get funded. It's not something that's probably going to happen this budget year. We actually have 3 years to build it if we get funded. We won't even find out until springtime or early summer if we got funded. So we're asking you to commit, and there's a letter for the judge to sign if you do so, to help us to gather up points.
Okay. What's the total size of the grant?
The grant is for $500,000.
$500,000. That's the maximum that could be allowed. Could it be any less than that?
Well, they do it in those kind of increments, so it's usually all or nothing over $500,000.
Okay.
It requires a 50-50 match, so we have to come up with at least $500,000. But what we have intended is going to be multiples of that. Probably we're talking about a big soccer complex in the park.
Okay. So of your commitment of $500,000, the city, we would represent $100,000 of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And that's labor and materials. Would there be any county land possibly asked for?
No, I don't believe so. We're actually negotiating for some properties right now that is not included county land. The big point I want to make is this doesn't involve any county cash. It's the labor and the equipment that we're
Stay in kind.
Okay.
Judge, I've been a part of this. We've done this before, and we got the grant money, and it's really worked well. And probably we're very unique in counties and cities because we probably have more recreation area for our citizens than probably any county in this area. The city, I know a lot of people use the different facilities and stuff. I think it's good. People are active and out doing things, and I think that's really good. And we have been a part of this before. We worked with them on another grant, and it was completed and really went well.
The big driver is that our soccer programs are just bulging at the seams. We did a park study 5 years ago, and there was like 26 youth soccer teams, and we just recently renewed that park grant or park study. There's about 55 soccer teams, so it's doubled over 5 years' time period. We just don't have the facilities that are coming anymore.
And this would serve essentially youth, this particular park, or would it be for all ages?
The fields, the soccer fields are geared for the youth. Yeah, it'll be a comprehensive park. I mean, you'll have all the amenities you see in Heritage Park, for example, with the fields geared towards soccer.
Okay. That sounds great. Hope that we get it. Any other questions or comments? Anybody like to make a motion to do that? $100,000 worth of labor and or materials. Pretty good sized commitment.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Fields and second by Commissioner Riddle to participate with the city in attempting to get the grant, and if successful, we will participate in the cost. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. All right, thank you. Item number 5, consider and possibly approve modifications to the fire contract, and that's the fire protective services that we contract with the city of Mount Pleasant. We brought this topic up at our last meeting, and we approved a couple of items on there, and I believe specifically this agenda item, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioners Parker and Riddle and Chief or anybody that's here from the city, Councilman Tim or Mike, this would have to do with the addition of some firefighters to the city of Mount Pleasant. I've got 2 of my committee members on the fire committee are up here. Would you like to speak to this? Or both of you speak to this?
Only thing I'd like to say, Judge, is our committee has really worked trying to get these, this stuff together and all for this budget year in order to not have to go into another, wait another year to get something started.
The upcoming budget year, you mean?
Yes, sir, the upcoming budget year. And we've worked real hard trying to do it, and we would like to see this last part of it put into play with Mount Pleasant, joining in with us, the city joining in with us.
Can you give us some more specifics? You say this last piece. The part that I remember that we didn't take any action on was the hiring, and I think that the recommendation was 3 full-time firefighters that would be added to the city of Mount Pleasant Fire Department staff, with us sharing half of that cost. And our half of that cost was projected to be $90,000, and I think we've got some revised figures that may be closer to $92,000. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Riddle, any addition to his comments?
No, we've approved it, and we would like to recommend that it be, I guess you're going to add it to the, what we pay the contract with the city, if I'm reading this correctly?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I think that we first want to talk about what is everybody's intention, and then with the help of Mike Aarons and probably Kerry Wooten, will maybe there's another vehicle by which we could share this cost. It seems to me that that would be the vehicle that we've got in place is that contract, and if there's going to be some cost sharing, it would make sense for us to contribute to that, to an addition in the contract price. And Mike, if you'd like to address what the city council's feelings are on this at this time, maybe that'll help us make our decision.
We have not yet adopted our budget, but this item, the sheriff's cost of firemen, is in the budget. I have every indication that it will pass next week or so when we pass our budget. As far as the contract, we do believe the vehicle is to amend our current contract to add that cost. That way it continues year after year to support those three firemen.
Okay. And is 92,000
$91,730.
okay. 91,730 would be our cost as well as your cost, so $184,000 roughly to add those three. Okay, that was a key component in those recommendations, and obviously the most expensive one. As a review, we had already approved adding $25,000 in the budget for run money in hopes of attracting some additional volunteers if they receive some kind of compensation for each time they make a run. We're hoping that would be an attraction and help us build up our volunteer staff. We'd also talked about returning to a tiered format as far as the fixed amount of monies that we provide each of our volunteer fire departments. The fire committee did not make any decisions about a truck. I think that was mentioned in there at one time, but no decisions were made there. And then the sharing the cost of a consultant. Did we already approve that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Had y'all talked any more about that consultant? If you would bring us up to date on the city's feelings toward that consultant.
All the way to $50,000 budget for our half of that.
Okay, 15 and 15, 30,000, and that's what we think it'll take to get that done. All right. Okay, well, this is a significant cost here at $91,750-something, and this would be an ongoing amount. I don't think that this is something that we can absorb without making a rate adjustment, so you need to know that. If this were a one-time expenditure, buying a truck or something like that, I think you could probably get away with utilizing some of your fund balance, but this is a commitment that will repeat year after year, and we'll have to factor that in my opinion, when we're finalizing a tax rate.
Judge, the only thing I have to say on it, I think it's good. I think you have to look at the big picture on this because of, and I'll give you an example, my home, because of Tri-Lake and because of our rating, and I think it's a 6, isn't it, Gary? My insurance on my house went down over $150. You have to get a form, and I know Tri-Lake has this, and other volunteer fire departments have this, but if you send that to your insurance company and you get a reduction in your insurance because of those fire departments. And I think this more than offsets the cost that we're looking at here on your savings. You know, you can either pay it here or you can pay it there, but you still going to have to pay for it. But I think it's a good deal. And our fire departments, if you go back, I think it was about 27, 28 years ago, our volunteer fire department, we had one in the county. And we encouraged people in the community. We encouraged people to start fire departments, and people stepped to the plate and did that. And over the period of time, the training, the education, you have to have this. You just can't go out there and fight a fire without training. All this is a part of that. It costs to do all these things. But in the long run, your insurance rates are going to go down. You're going to have fire protection. And we're one of the few, and you talk to Larry or any of these people, you go to other counties and see what they got. It's just not there. And the fire protection is something that's important to people, and they want it. And if you're going to have something like this, it's going to cost. So I have not had one person come to me and be negative towards what we're trying to do here. So I think it's a good idea. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. You want to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll make that into a form of a
I've
motion.
got a motion by Commissioner Fields,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor of approving participating with the City of Mount Pleasant to share our 50% cost in the addition of adding 3 full-time firefighters to the Mount Pleasant Fire Department, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Will the fire committee continue to meet? Do you feel like was that? Okay, I apologize. We have a vote of 4, and Commissioner Hinton has said nay, so we have a 4-to-1 vote on that. Will the fire committee continue to meet? Do you feel like the job is done? Do you feel like you'll reduce the amount of time that you're meeting for a while and see how things go?
We're possibly going to reduce the amount of time that we're meeting, but we've got a few more items that we're going to look at and just kind of, one of them is the contract with the county fire departments with the county, and that's one of the things we're going to bring up at our next meeting, and it's something that we'll be bringing before the court at a later date. But we won't be meeting as much now. I still think there's a need for it, and Commissioner Riddle may have some other ideas too, but I do think we need to meet, continue to meet.
Well, what you just said, I think, would be a good idea. We've made a significant commitment in the form of $25,000 in the form of run money. I believe along with that should come some accountability. Not that we have had a problem with our fire departments, but I would like to see us get something out of it too, some kind of a commitment there, and of course keep us posted on how our volunteer numbers are doing, see if we're making any headway by offering the run money. But let me say thank you to the committee, that our 2 commissioners, Riddle and Parker, Chief McRae, Tim Dale from our city council. Chief, who else did you have participating back there? I'm looking right behind you. Who else? And we had Larry Cox, a local businessman. We had Colby Gillian.
And Nathan Carroll.
And Nathan Carroll. Okay. Well, thank you for the time that you've put into this. You all moved very quickly, to say the least. And we certainly hope that the changes that we're making will produce the results we're after. A word of thanks to the city. Although we have this fire contract, it's real clear that you all have been giving us more than we've been paying for. We hope that this proves that we're in this to share, our responsibility as well. And we will hope, again, together we can all do the job better. We're very fortunate that we've not had any situations come up yet where anybody was glaringly deficient in the amount of forces that they put in the field as far as those fires. So thank you again, committee members and City of Mount Pleasant.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments from any commissioners about this? Item number, tell you what, I've got Charlie Smith in the audience, and I want to try to be respectful of your time. Charlie, I'm going to jump down there to item number 15. Consider and possibly approve a loan to Prefert Manufacturing from the revolving loan funds currently held by the county. We haven't discussed this subject in a good while. The last time we talked about it, we were actually returning to the state of Texas unused loan funds that we had had under our control for many, many years. And we have loaned this money out in the past, particularly in times of economic strength. I think Prefert's been our major borrower, and this money is just sitting there, about $730,000, is that about right? And I expect the call any minute from the state of Texas saying, if you guys aren't going to loan that money out, we would like to have it back in the state coffers. And Bill Preifert seems like is always expanding, and I believe we have an opportunity here to possibly loan this money out. I've asked Charlie Smith with our Economic Development Department up there at the Chamber of Commerce to kind of give us an overview of this program and to make some suggestions as to how we can make this deal work for the Preiferts and make it work for the county so that we can avoid sending that money back and we can put this money out in our community and use it to develop some tax base and some jobs. Charlie Smith, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here today. This money is originally federal money. It's HUD money, Housing and Urban Development, and it is given to the state, and the state actually in this case put it in the hands of the State Department of Agriculture. And the original creation of the revolving loan fund, to my recollection and for the information that I've been able to find, when it was created in Titus County was in 1995. And the money has been loaned out several times. And as interest rates drop, some of the interest in this from the public, if you will, drops also because it is a federal program and it involves there's a lot of strings attached to it, as there often is with state and federal money. But clearing through the minutia of all that today, we have about this over 700,000, and if we don't loan it out, there's a good chance we're going to lose it. It's going to be called in by the state. The only thing it can be used for is this specific type process. It's loaned to the private sector. The private sector has to repay it. They have guidelines. In this case, the guidelines, the interest rates run about 2% below New York Prime. Now today, it's actually at the time of closing. Today, New York Prime is at 3 1/4, so we're looking at about 1 1/4% interest, and that gives you some income for the fund. Goes back into the fund, but it also can offset some of the expenses that go to the county. The expenses are reporting quarterly, et cetera, back to the state, and that's what that involves. The guidelines generally for new construction, Preifert has 3 buildings that he's starting construction on very quickly. That's going to total about 39,000 square feet, and the cost on that is going to be a little over $2 million. We can package that as a real property, in other words, for a building, secured by those buildings, and we can loan that money out for a maximum of 10 years. And that would be my suggestion, is that we package this as a 10-year loan that's paid back monthly, amortized for 10 years, and paid back from Preifert Manufacturing. The qualifications for the industry are that they have to create jobs, and a portion of those jobs have to be low to moderate income jobs. And low LMI is the term, and LMI is defined by the state, and it's defined for each individual county in the state. And it goes to how many children are in the family, total number in the household, etc., and what that low to moderate income level is. The more children that are in the family, the higher the LMI is, in other words. So a single person, it might be $20,000 a year, and a person with 3 children, it might be $35,000, $40,000, something of that nature. So that's the program. It's the program overview. You've had it since about 95, and this is a project that qualifies well. I think it would qualify for $700,000 or probably the full amount if you wanted to do that. You can't loan more than 50% of the total project, and of course in this case 700 is less than half of $2 million. So that's the information that I have, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Does that interest rate adjust based on prime, or would we be?
Because it's tied to prime at the date of closing.
We don't fix it as of the day of closing for 10 years. It'll adjust.
No, it is fixed to the way I read the guidelines, it is fixed at closing. So whatever prime is on the date of closing, it's fixed at that point for the term.
So if we see rates creep back up here in the near future or the distant future, we're still stuck at 1 1/4.
One thing to remember about the price, we don't get any interest anyway. We can
That's
use the
state
interest to offset our expenses, but all of that interest goes into this fund, it's still state money. So
Take your exact.
this $731,000, a lot of that probably is interest that's been earned over 20 years or so at the project. We don't keep any of that.
Yeah.
It's all state, so it's the state that's going to be
Now-
getting that much interest.
How much have we paid back to the state?
I don't know how much we pay back on the state. $500,000.
Okay. The initial project, every county in the state of Texas got $500,000. In the process, we've loaned it out through the years, and it comes back to us. We get to keep that interest in that fund. We don't have to pay that back, but we have paid the
Well,
state.
you do have to pay it back at some point. The state asks for money.
Yeah,
It's-
but the 500,000, the interest and stuff stays here.
No,
and it will-
we're not. We don't get to keep any of the interest.
I'm not talking about us keeping it, I'm talking about it stays in that
It
fund.
stays here until they say we want the money. They could have gotten all this money.
We've paid their money back to them.
Take some of it back. They could have asked.
I thought we paid the 500,000 back.
We haven't paid it all back. They asked for a portion.
They could have asked for all.
But it's a good program because it helps create jobs. And I know Bill's building out there, and they're continuing to grow, and I think they're going to continue to grow. We know for a fact that your local businesses and local companies are going to be the ones that's going to grow the fastest in our area. We'll have people come in, but at the same time, you're still going to have growth. It's a good program, and we've done it before in the year. It really helps out, and I'm all for it.
That doesn't cost the county anything.
No.
We don't make anything off of it, really, but it doesn't cost us anything that allows us to create more jobs and grow business.
Well, I have a bit of a problem in locking in a 10-year, 1 1/4% rate without any kind of hope for adjustment. I mean, you're not going to get that anywhere else. I don't know that you're going to get anything much beyond 5 years fixed regardless of the rate.
That's been a problem the last 8 to 10 years. As interest rates went down so cheap, they could actually go to the bank and get money cheaper than they could from our revolving loan here. And that's the reason it has not been used a whole lot in the last few years. But with this project coming on, I know Bill can use it. I don't have a problem with it being fixed.
Well, like I said, it doesn't affect that. It's really the benefit to the local taxpayer.
Yeah.
Because they are.
Well, it gives us more money to loan back to the next person.
Well, and as Carl was saying, it is a complicated problem, a complicated process. And for that reason, that's the reason I'm here today is to kind of, we can move forward with this, and I think it's a great program and a good way to use the money. It's the only thing that money can be used for.
Does it specifically state that it needs to be a fixed rate?
It does not. You have some criteria for that. I gave you the maximum. The maximum is a 10-year term, and the guidelines say that it's at closing. So you could set it for less, and you could renew it after 5 or whatever you wanted to do. But that's really up to the county. That's some of the flexibility that you have.
Well, that's what I'd like to do is, rather than keeping track of it every time prime changes a 1/4 of a point, revise the rate at 5 years.
If you do that, and because it is for real property, I would suggest that you still amortize it for 10. And
Throughout the whole 10 years, yes, which means the payment might go up. I can't imagine it going down, but it could possibly go up.
How many jobs is Bill looking at creating?
The minimum that they'll need to create, and my understanding is that they'll do that initially, and the jobs have to be created in the first year. And the number we're looking at is 28, 29 jobs, and that's $25,000 per new job is the criteria.
I'm lost on the interest. The interest rate's not going to affect us anyway, in any manner, except that the fund might grow a little more if we hire a
That's
little
right.
more. So I don't know why we should even be concerned about it, as long as it's got enough to pay for it, unless I'm misunderstanding.
No, you're understanding it correctly. Just should we give that much benefit to a borrower? That's just a matter of opinion.
I
But
think you said earlier, Judge, that growth has been substantial. It has been almost virtually continuous for the last 12 years. When the economy turned down in 06 and 07, they were looking at about 800 jobs out there. And today they've got over 900 and new products and that sort of thing. So I think the county gets their money's worth out of it.
they have been a driving force that got us through the recession.
The state has
One of
come
the-
back to us several times, said, y'all are not lending this money out. Y'all need to either lend it out or give it back to us, whatever. And I know one time in particular that Bill said, hey, I've got a project going to help y'all out. He didn't have to borrow the money, but he did it to help us with the state situation.
Is this the one that we had the gentleman helping us and we had to pay him a small fee? Can we do without Bob Jones if we do another one? He's not. He's retired. He's retired.
We started doing it after we retired.
We can, once it's set up,
We can handle it. Okay.
that reporting, but the initial setup, I have no idea what kind of paperwork is required to do that. I don't know if we have the expertise to do that.
The loan document has to be approved by the state. So once that's drafted, and we have former loan documents, so we could use the, by that, I mean, a template of how they're set up, that qualification.
And then submit that to the state for their approval, and if it works, it
And
works.
if we need a modification, we can make it.
Well, now,
Who are y'all usually do your rely on cities and house expertise to help.
well, I think
But again, whatever those fees are can be paid for out of the interest.
Okay.
But once you get set up, I'm very comfortable we can do
All right. Charlie, any other comments? Okay. Commissioners, what would you like to do here?
make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields. Can I elaborate on this and say that you will allow me and Carl and Charlie to work together to get these loan documents put together for state approval, and that once state approval is received on those documents, that then we could loan the full amount that we have, approximately $730,000, to Preferred at 1.25% interest fixed for 10 years.
That's my motion.
Okay, that is Commissioner Fields' motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor of approving this loan, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you, Charlie. If you need to go, help yourself. Chief, was there anything on here else that you needed to talk to us about? Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Larry a question just right quick, if you got a chance. I've had several people come to me, and I've even told them to call your office on Burning Man.
Yes.
And I told them, I know in the south part of the county, we got quite a bit of rain, but I said, I think in the north, we didn't quite get that much.
But Sugar Hill, they got about a half inch up there the other day.
Okay, I didn't think it was.
And we pulled up the drought monitor last Thursday, and we moved from severe to exception. We're just getting worse.
Well, that's what I tried to tell. I said, we did get a good rain in this part of the county, but the north part didn't get the rain, I don't think.
No.
And at my shop, we had over 4 inches. The airport was, Blodgett had 2.5 to 3 inches in spots out there. So we got a good rain, and everything's greening up, but other parts are not.
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation you made to City Council the other night, about 45 minutes long. That took a lot of prep putting that together, but it was very informative.
Thank you.
I'm not sure I'd want you speaking at the chamber banquet with that, but it was real good.
Neither would I.
It was very good, very informative, and I'm sure that it helped the council make some decisions too. But it's good to work together with you guys. Thanks again. All right, item number 6. We've got Constable Ray Barrett here with us today. Consider and possibly approve a memorandum of understanding between Titus County Constable Office Precinct 2 and the City of Mount Pleasant Police Department regarding sharing of seized assets. Constable Barrett, what can you tell us about this? You have your copy, or do you need to see mine? Okay.
What I'm requesting this morning is permission to go into a written agreement with the Mount Pleasant Police Department concerning the seized funds on narcotics investigations. And what the understanding simply states is that if we're working jointly with the police department's narcotics division and there's any assets that are seized and awarded to us through the court, that we would share those seized funds between the two departments. The district attorney's office would get their 30% up front, and then we would split 50-50 the remaining of that.
The agreement reflects that Titus County District Attorney's Office shall receive 30% of the seizure, and that's the same amount he's always received. And the agencies shall each receive 50% of the remaining seizure. In other words, DA gets 30%, PD gets 35%, and the constable's office, specifically yours, would get 35%. Now, is this, you're proposing this only for Precinct 2?
Right, just my office.
Any reason that Chris Durant wouldn't want to go along with this?
I was approached by the chief of police about it a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't even talked to Chris about it yet.
Okay.
He's on vacation this week, so I'm going to talk to him.
Okay.
It may be something he's interested in doing also.
Is this a better deal than we had before, or a lesser deal? In other words, how were we handling these before?
I don't think they had any kind of understanding with the police department before, with the constable's office. But I think, it benefits us in a couple of ways. We'll bring money through into our office, through the seized funds. Also helps us continue a good working relationship with the police department. I don't know that there was anybody in the constable's office working in narcotics before. And I haven't done it up to this point because I've been dealing with the recovery injuries that I sustained in the car wreck. But I was approached a few weeks ago by a citizen in Precinct 2 that was complaining about some narcotics that were being sold out of their residence. And I started conducting surveillance on that residence. And I'm going to start doing more of that stuff. As my injury allows me to do more.
Okay.
And there is a report that any assets that they share, that they do have to fill out and report to the state.
Okay. All right, any questions about this? Would anyone like
The
to?
question I have is, are this particular system, is it outside the city limits or is it inside the city?
It's either one. If they're working, the police department's narcotics division is working on an investigation, whether it's inside the city or out in the county. If I'm assisting on that investigation, it turns into some seized money.
The only reason I'm asking is because the sheriff's office gets seized and forfeited funds. And I'm assuming they only were working cases outside the city limits, if it was inside the city limits. Probably go to the city, if it's outside the city limits.
Your sheriff or constable, he's constable of the city or the county. He's constable of the city and the
I
county.
understand that. What I'm saying is if there's a case going on outside the city limits, the sheriff's office is working it. I'm not aware of how they're restricting anything.
Right, so the sheriff's office is working, and that's, if they have an agreement with their city or anything like that, that's not.
I mean, all that, I'm not aware of any big deal with keeping all.
We had one the other day at the city health, and so we did split it.
I think we'll put that back on the head. But anyway, regardless, remember, the county's not city limits is in the county. Right. And so if they don't help, they don't get anything, that contribute, so.
Is that what you're concerned about, Carl, a liability to the PD if we're working a case out in the county?
Well, yeah, or if it was going to have a detrimental effect to the residents that get elected, if the city.
Right. Does this have any, you understand what Carl's saying, does this have any possible, can you imagine any situation where this would cause funds to be diverted to the PD that would otherwise go to the sheriff's office? These are situations where it's just you and the PD have anything to do with the case. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Would you all like to approve this?
Judge, I don't have any problem with that. I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields to approve this memorandum of understanding between the City of Mount Pleasant Police Department and Constable Precinct 2. Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 7 is consider and possibly approve 2015 tax year resolution for exemptions and discounts. There's no changes to this document from the prior year, but let me review those for you. Tax rate discount of 3% if paid in the month of October 2015, 2% if paid in November, and 1% if paid in December. That's the first item, which remains unchanged. Allow a 20% exemption on the value of homesteads in Titus County for purposes of county property tax for the tax year 2015, but not less than $5,000. All homesteads in Titus County owned by persons 65 years of age or older in determining the amount of property tax due. This is an exemption, and this exemption amount is $15,000. Next item is that persons under the age of 65 who are 100% disabled according to Social Security are granted an additional exemption of $10,000 on their homestead. Next item is the property tax code permits a governing body to adopt a tax freeze for persons 65 years of age or older on their homestead in accordance with section 11.261. So that's actually a tax freeze, not just not a freeze on the property value itself.
What about the $10,000 that the legislature approved to add to that exemption? Is that in?
They got to vote on that.
That hadn't been finalized yet.
On in November.
I'm sure the taxpayers will approve that, but they haven't as of yet.
But different entities have the option. Of course, our school did away with that. And as far as I know, I don't, y'all might know the county, but I don't know of any county that gives the discount, the 3, the 2, the 1. There were some counties at one time, but I think we're the only county that still does that. And of course, the exemption value of the homestead, and then the amount is $15,000 that you get to take off right from the start of it. And then you have your disability people who are disabled and stuff. It's the same exemptions we gave in the past. It's good, and I like it, and I think it's a good thing for especially our senior citizens.
Over 65.
Yes. Now, you can be over 65, but you got to file for the exemption. It just doesn't happen automatically. Yeah.
It's a good deal. All right. Judy Cook has asked that we approve this. Motion by Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor of approval of this resolution documenting the 2015 tax exemptions, say aye. Aye. Opposed? I will need each of your signatures on that document. Item number 8, consider and possibly approve the transfer of $920,000 from the interest and sinking fund back to the general fund that was used to make 2015 bond payments. As a refresher on this, back in March of this year when our bond payments were due, we needed to borrow temporarily from the general fund for our INS fund. At that time, we had not received monies from the state reimbursing us on the loop project, and by now we have gotten not only what was expected, but even more, and we have the money to be able to pay back to the general fund. That amount was $920,000, and we're asking for approval to return the entire $920,000 back to the general fund from the INS fund. I will make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. Any questions about that?
Judge, when this program went through, we started putting money back, the Commissioners' Courts did in the years, because we didn't know the final results, what was going to happen, whether we was going to have enough money, whether there were going to be problems, something come up that we wasn't expecting. Last year, we didn't finish the project on time like we thought we would, so the county, this is some of the money that's been put back through the years to help make that interest payment and stuff on the bonds, because the $4,000 was not completed. The money's there that we paid, and we're guaranteed. That's the beauty part of this whole project, is you're guaranteed so much money. You spend it all, and you need more money, you're going to have to come up in fund reserves to pay that. We're very blessed and fortunate to come up $1,073,000 in the black. So that money is there to make that payment, and we're going to get every penny of it. And we're still going to have $1 million plus that will be there. But anyway, it's just one of these things that has really worked out well for us, the project, and when we entered into the agreement. But this is actually the money we're able to take the money that we'll be getting from the state and be able to pay this back. And, it basically was a loan from the county until we got this other project finished. It's really going to be interesting in February or March to find out how much money with 4,000 open up, because I think that's one of the busiest roads in Titus County right now. I go through there every morning. There's traffic on it coming both ways. So that's a big plus. I'm for it, Judge.
Okay, motion and a second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of returning this loan back to the general fund, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Along that same topic line, consider and possibly approve transferring the remaining loop construction funds back to the 2012B interest and sinking fund. And because we had excess funds left at the end of the loop construction, we have to return this back to INS. What's the amount of that you're...
This time, Judge, I'm only recommending $1 million.
Not all of it?
Not all of it, because...
We're not quite done yet.
And there was also a question about maybe some legal expenses that we might incur moving forward. I'm talking bond counsel.
Yes.
They felt like those districts, we could justify paying for those out of that excess money rather than the general fund. So,
Wait a minute.
Explain that to...
But whatever money is left over at the end, construction finished, any litigation, any final bills, I think we're also over the retainer line on James Construction, so there will be money over the end that has not been paid yet. But whatever money's left at the end, we will transfer all that money to the interest and savings fund.
But you're comfortable with $1 million at this time? Okay. Commissioner Riddle, do you have a question?
No, that's, but they won't let you give it back? I mean, we can't pay that back. That's what you're saying, or you don't want to?
2018.
Whatever's left into that interest and sinking, but we can't pay those notes off early until 2017.
18.
So at that point, we'll have some money, we'll use that money to pay those notes off early again.
Just for the record, for Mr. Field, is that after the bond is paid, at this time, we still have about $70 or $80 million in interest on these bonds that the state will not reimburse us. So we're not going to get all of our money back. The taxpayers are on the hook for that amount of the interest. And so if we can reduce the interest by any amount, it's a saving to the taxpayers.
Well, by doing this, that doesn't have any impact on the interest expense. But what it will do is it will give us monies that we hope will be building up due to higher traffic counts. And in 2018, that money we've built up in the INS fund, we can apply down to reduce the outstanding principal and thereby reduce interest expense. So yes, you're right on both counts. But this right here will have no impact on interest expense for the time being.
Understand.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we transfer that $1 million back to the 2012B interest and sinking fund.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 10, consider and possibly approve a hardware maintenance agreement with Net Data for the upcoming year, October 1, 2015 through September 30, 2016 at a cost of $12,000. This is up from $10,000 last year. It's been a few years since they have taken an increase. That's a pretty hefty one, $2,000 or a 20% increase, but it has been several years since they have increased that. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of options here as long as we're utilizing Net Data.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton and second by Commissioner Fields to approve, and this is a hardware IT support level 2 maintenance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And like unto that, item number 11, consider and possibly approve a maintenance agreement with Net Data. This is where they maintain all of our programming, all of our software, the entire, across all the different departments that utilize Net Data. And this again is a one-year agreement, October 1 through September 30 of 2016 at a cost of $125,193. And last year it was $114,263, so a $11,000 increase there. And again, we are pretty well tied to Net Data while we have their equipment, so this is the agreement that they are bringing to us for the upcoming 12-month period.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of approval of this maintenance agreement for the upcoming year in the amount of $125,193, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 12, this was an item that was mentioned to you by Chris Basham the last time he was here 3 weeks ago. This all relates to additional work, optional work, all optional at the Ratliff Building, approving power wash, exterior repairs, caulking and painting of the fascia and railings at the Ratliff Building to give the exterior of that building a fresh outside look. $2,700 was the cost that Richard Jones had proposed while he was over there. Again, this is not mandatory. This has nothing to do with the interior. This was just a suggestion to get the exterior freshened up and in as good a shape as possible.
Well, I've looked at that building, and it's just there's no paint cracking or any lack of paint. There might be a couple places that need to be caulked, but I certainly can't see anything wrong with the brick part of it, just the other part, and it's just...
Well, this would not include painting the brick.
No, I mean, that other than the brick, the part that it could probably use a caulking spot here or there, but we're talking about a minor job that anybody could do the job. I don't see why we would hurry into doing that. We could probably, it's not complicated. Pressure washer and some paint and rollers would be a good, all it would take, not a contractor, or I don't think would need it. That's my opinion.
Just a few commissioner employees maybe could meet up there on a Saturday.
Sure.
Well, again,
We've used employees before. We've used prisoners to do work, pick up trash. We've dug out Mr. Fields and Mr. Hinton. They put a construction crew up there to tear up the parking lot at the Riddle Street building. We've done a lot of things that we could do rather than to spend that kind of money to get a small paint job.
Have to look at it. We could use prisoners for that. It's not too big of a job.
I admit I don't have a real detailed idea of the complexity of this job, to tell you the truth. We could visit with Richard Jones some more if we wanted to. All right.
I'd say I make a motion, we just hold off on it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hinton that we table this item.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 13, consider and possibly approve proceeding with the design and bid of the exterior facade of the corner space at the annex. This is one of the items you had told me you wanted to move forward with, to get that corner next to the adult probation all the way down where it makes that angled turn. It would not include anything on the side of the building that faces the bell tower. It would just be that front, and essentially it would be bringing it up to the same standards as the adult probation building so that it matches. We do some paint work, stucco work, brick work, woodwork, paint.
The only thing I would say on both 13 and 14 is we budgeted those next year, so.
And it'll take a while to complete the design on that one.
As long as it's not expected to be paid this year.
Huh?
As long as it's not expected to be paid before I go further.
Well, we're midway through, so that, yes, I won't say that goes without saying, but that's a good point. We do have that included in next year, but if we can go ahead and begin at least the design work.
Let me ask, don't the Main Street Committee have a set of rules and regulations on the decor of facade like that?
Yes.
And they don't have a design, or are you suggesting we hire somebody to design?
Well, they previously approved what we did over there to the adult probation, and so to me it would make sense to continue that theme. So whatever, if you utilized Chris Basham, who's already done preliminary drawings on this, if you utilized him, you would be paying his percentage to design and manage and complete that project. I will say that.
Well, I'm totally opposed to that.
Okay.
To have one person do it all, I think it's a mistake.
Okay.
And we should get somebody to design it. If we use that design, pay him for the design, or get another architect. I'd like to get another opinion. There's plenty of people that can give us the design.
Okay.
So I don't know why we don't get that, and then whoever we give it to, I don't want them doing the work. I don't think, and I think it's really wrong. Like they told us, you lose all your control.
In other words, you'd like the architect to be separate from anybody that manages the construction. I just want to be sure I understand.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You lose your checks and balances when you do it the other way like we've done it before, and I think we lose total control. And I hope we don't do any of those, and I'm not sure that, like I said, it's not against government codes. I was told that by the Nobody showed it to me in the government code, but I'm not so sure that you should do that. They say you shouldn't do it, but I don't think we should do it as an opinion. I'd like to get, even though it might be the best deal we can make, but let's get some ideas.
I have no problem with that. I would like to utilize Chris Basham to do the design, to get it to where it could be put out to bid, and if you want to utilize him, we could say, at this point, we want your services to stop there. Not to say that we wouldn't utilize him later on, but at least get us some other options. Now, we can bring in another architect to come up with a whole different design plan, but in that he's already done most of that, I think that'll be our best deal, but again, that's up to you all.
Well, I'd like to have another opinion.
Okay?
Put it up for bid and let him bid on it.
Do you have any architects in mind?
Oh, there's books full of them, a lot of them around. A lot of them live in Mount Pleasant.
Okay, well then I may solicit your assistance on picking out somebody that you think might be a good one. I don't think it's a real elaborate job. I think that any number of folks could probably handle that. Excuse me?
Those engineers over on this corner did a good job that's remodeling this building on this north.
Do you know who that was?
Yeah, that guy's name is Russell, the engineer and the architect.
Is Ty Russell an engineer, and he designed it?
Well, no, there's an architect that helped him.
Okay.
He's an engineer. He's doing the work.
Okay.
But there is an architect that's from this area.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't even know if Chris could do it, because I think he's committed to some other projects. But I do want the same thing that we got up there in front. I don't want to change it up.
Okay.
And I know the Main Street program has already authorized what we've done. And I'm sure they would authorize the same pattern, the same designs and stuff we have on the adult probation office. I'd like to keep the same thing up there. I don't want to change it.
Well, any way you look at it, I believe that you're looking at needing the services of the same person to design it and then to put it in a bid format so that it can be conveyed to whoever the contractor is that does the work, exactly how they want the work done. I don't know that we need to take that responsibility over, so I do believe there is somebody that needs to coordinate that design, coordinate the bid out, and coordinate the overseeing. I don't know that it needs to be the same person throughout, but I do think whoever designs it and whoever bids it out should be the same person, regardless of what architect we do use. All right, what would you all like to do? Commissioner Riddle has made a suggestion here. You're in favor of doing the project, Commissioner Riddle, but you'd like to go about it a different way?
Absolutely.
Okay. But you support the project?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in our budget. Didn't we put it in the budget?
So would you like to make a motion that we proceed with the project and we begin first with talking to a few more architect designers? I don't know that you need an architect, but at least somebody that could design it.
Architect, engineer, architect/engineer, put it up for bid.
Okay.
Advertise it for bid.
The design work?
The design work.
Okay.
And then at that point, we'll have something to offer up for bid for the doing the work.
Okay.
I think that's the proper way to do it.
Okay. I don't think that you're talking about a significant amount of money just to design that exterior facade. I don't think that that warrants going through the bid process. Getting some quotes, I'm all for that, but going through a formal sealed bid process, if that's what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Okay.
Why not?
Because
What's wrong with
it's a
that?
small amount, and I don't think that that's an efficient way to do it. But that's one
What
possibility.
do you call a small amount?
To design that,
Yeah.
I don't know, $1,500?
Well, if it's that much, we should let somebody else give a bid on it then. $500, maybe not. $1,500?
I'm just guessing, I don't know.
Well, I don't either. I don't have a clue.
12%, let's say I think we had a projected cost of about $30,000 on that. 12% of that for somebody to do the entire project like Chris Basham would propose to do, you'd be talking about, what, $400, $3,600, something like that.
Well, look at every other job that he's done. We come back for change orders. I bet we've got, I don't know what we've got in that Ratliff building in dollars. But of course, every time we can make a change, you can add a little bit to his.
Have no
kitty.
problem with getting somebody else to do it. Okay, so that's your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all understand that motion to move forward with the project, to go out for sealed bids for somebody to design only, and then we stop at that point. And then the next step would be to hire somebody, to get somebody to go through the bid process and the coordination process with the actual contractors that might do the work. Somebody like Richard Jones, for example.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. Let me say once again, I think that if you break this small job into too many pieces, it will become cumbersome and annoying and time-consuming. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
2 votes, yea. All right. Any other thoughts from you other commissioners as to how you would like to proceed on this? I would propose that we solicit bids from architect/engineer for the design and bid process for this job, with that job responsibility ending when the bids are received from the contractor, so that we have one person who's responsible for the design, the accumulation of the necessary terminology to put it in biddable form. That's the only change that I would like to see you do. And I don't have a problem sealed bids on that. So that's my motion. Looks like that one will die for a lack of a second.
Explain it, say it again.
We solicit an architect, designer, engineer. I think any of those could probably design the exterior facade the way that we want it. We've already got an example of it sitting right next door to it. It's not going to take a lot of ingenuity to come up with a process to duplicate that. Somebody's going to have a knowledge of construction to be able to tell the bidders, here's what I want from you. And so, but I would like that person to handle the design, the construction documents, whatever those are, and help us put a bid package together.
This person would not be.
This person would not be the project manager. They might ultimately be the project manager if the commissioners voted for them to continue that job, but that would be a separate set. So a possible scenario might be Chris Basham designed it, put the bids together, he got bids from multiple contractors, Richard Jones wins the bid, and then we either trust Richard Jones to handle it, or we get somebody that watches over Richard Jones and makes sure that he abides by the bid documents and produces the final product.
I think it's part of that whole process. Took the information from prior projects, we're going to have an engineer sign off on anything we do to that building. I think that's right.
That's right. It's over 15,000.
Even if we get an architect to draw up the drawings, somebody's going to have to bring an engineer in to say, this building is.
We will have to review those requirements again. Do you remember what those were? What was the total project size? Was it $20,000?
20,000, 15,000, and then 20,000 for.
There was a limit on how much money.
Yeah, your mechanical heating and air.
Of course, there wouldn't be any heating and air. There might be some electrical involved there. There wouldn't be any plumbing, but we will review whatever those requirements were that we committed to the architectural.
I don't think we should let them get the bids. The county should get the bids, sealed bids, and we should open them.
Totally agree. Totally agree with
Give
you.
them out to Chris Basham or anybody else.
That's what my motion is.
That's bid it all.
I'll make that motion.
Well, I did make it, but let's clarify that. Again, the person that what I'm asking you to do is to allow us to seek bids from someone who would design the exterior and put it in a format where you could give it to any contractor for bid. He would not go out and, like we have done on these other projects, and solicit individual painters, fabricators, metal workers, electricians, brick people. In other words, we would turn it over for one person, such as a Richard Jones, to do the entire project. I think it's not big enough to go out and do multiple bids, and I want to simplify this, unlike we've had in the past. But this person would not be responsible for overseeing the construction. They would only be responsible for design and putting a bid package together. Is that what you're
Put the
seconding?
package together, and we'll send the bids out, or whoever, and we vote on it. Yeah, second.
Okay, there's a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is that opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed, okay. I'd just like to know what you would do different here. I was trying to get something that we could all agree with.
I'd like to get somebody, I'd like to get different people to give us a bid on the thing, and to keep it, make it one construction, one job. Anybody can put it up for bid. The general contractor, tell him what we want. He can tell us what he wants. If it's Jones or anybody, we show him what we want. He can tell us. I've taken bids
Okay.
and stuff.
I don't have that
forever.
skill set. If you do, that's great. I'll put you in charge
Of what?
of packaging it for bids.
I don't have any problem getting people to
Okay,
bid on it.
good deal.
But we need to know what the design has to be. We have to get bids or quotes on the design, whatever.
Okay, well, there's a vote of 4-1 on that to proceed. Item number 14, discuss and possibly take action on repairs to the Justice Center parking lot. I think I had Carolyn provide you with a couple of documents here from Dan. Do you not have, anybody not have those documents? Okay, good deal. Mr. Apperson did do the field work, and there's a diagram there kind of showing you the parking lot, and let me tell you what his final conclusions are. I was pleased that it was not as bad as he had thought it was going to be, so that's the good news. It won't be as expensive of a fix. He says, to follow up on your question regarding the size of the areas with subgrade separation, and there he's describing you've got the underside of the slab with a void between it and the solid dirt below. That's what he's calling grade separation. Two areas of concern are located at the southmost approach at the degraded expansion joint. That's where he's talking about the driveway hitting the street there that separates the JP building from the parking lot. This is an area about 2 feet either side of the expansion joint and 8 to 15 feet wide. This area showed as much as 4 to 6 inches of separation, and to the north to within 10 to 12 feet of the hole that is coned off. This area is about 10 by 10 either side of the hole at about 5 to 6 inches of separation, and it extends out further to 20 feet, 2 to 3 inches down to 1 inch, as far away as 25 feet. So he's describing the size of that void. The void is as deep as 6 inches, and it tapers down to 1 inch or so when you get to the end of that patch. This first area would have 60 to 80 square feet of severe separation and another 60 to 80 feet of minor separation. The second area has 150 to 200 square feet of severe separation and another 100 square feet of minor separation. The flowable fill material is designed to extend beyond the areas cut out and close the separation between the subgrade and the underside. So basically he's saying we're going to put thin, more liquid type of concrete called flowable fill into this void to fill up this space and support the underside of that slab so that it doesn't break anymore. A Stinger vibrator and flowable fill at 7 to 9 inch slump would allow the material to flow 25 to 30 feet. And there he's describing a machine that would shake the concrete to allow that flowable fill to disperse in that void. And he's saying if you mix it down to that 7 to 9 inch slump, that will be a viscosity such that it could flow out to that 25, 30 feet. So that is what the findings are. It was not a bigger area than that. That's good. We were afraid that that void would continue on up north towards Billy Craig. We had no idea where the end was, so I'm glad to know that the space is not as big as it was. So there will still need to be a significant chunk cut out in order to put the flowable fill material in. I've given you his first initial document describing what the work that he did was and what the anticipated needs were going to be to fix this, but I asked him to further document for us about how big the space was so that we could give this to someone to bid the job out. He has not given me any projections as to what this would cost. He will probably be a potential bidder, but this work can be done by anybody here in town. Philip has just provided me with, Jimmy brought this. This is RJ Concrete Repair, joint sealing, crack repair, breakout and removal, free estimates, fair prices. And this is somebody that you worked with at Chapel Hill?
Chapel Hill, yes, sir. They've done us a real good job out there. They came down and looked at everything and give us a bid and all on it. So,
Okay.
Judge, I make the motion that we get that parking lot fixed as soon as possible. That thing's going to cave in, or it's a dangerous situation that needs to be fixed, and I make that motion.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Parker. And I'm assuming that you want to get this bid.
Yes. Get a bid or...
The only thing that I was asking Mr. Apperson about was how would somebody bid it not knowing exactly how much concrete was going to be needed to fill that hole? So would you accept a bid that would include a fixed element, and then if that space down there was more, it's hard to know exactly what the number of cubic yards would be. I would think you could get it pretty close, but maybe leave that as a variable in the bid as to far as how many actual yards it took. Now, I may be able to get a fixed bid to complete it regardless of the number of yards that are under there. All right, motion in a second.
I think, Judge, that those folks there will come down and look at it and will give you a bid on what.
Good.
But you call that lady there and talk to her.
I will do that. All right, motion in a second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor of proceeding with getting some bids to fix the parking lot at the JP Center, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 16, consider and possibly approve the purchase of a road sign printing machine. Apparently this is a new machine that we would need to print the road signs. something that's more modern that we've been using. And Philip, is it you or Mike that's done the research on this and can give us an idea of what this will cost?
If I remember correctly, it's probably about $3,500, I believe.
And that includes the software where you design it. And we've got a computer. We're going to use my old computer that K-Bro will configure, that will make it where it will be more than enough to run the software that's utilized to design each sign, and then it can be printed out. So $3,500, and that'll be a sign that all the precincts can use. And we're replacing, what, an old worn-out machine?
Yeah, it's probably about 25 years old. It's a dinosaur.
It's old.
Okay.
It's
You
old.
can't even get parts for it anymore, and it's been well used through the years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
And I've got signs that need to be made, put up right now.
All right. Need a motion.
so moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to buy approximately a $3,500 road sign printing machine with the associated software. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 17, consider and possibly approve lowering the speed limit on County Road 4855 from 40 down to 25 miles per hour. Commissioner Parker.
Judge, this is a dead-end road that ends in the Lake Welch out there. There's several houses down in there. The kids are on the road a lot and all out there, and I've had several requests to lower the speed limit.
How did it end up as a 40 mile per hour?
When all,
That's what all the normal...
It's not necessarily marked, that's just the standard. And now you're going to put signage up to indicate that it's 25.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many houses are on that road? Oh, roughly.
I'd say there's probably 15 or better.
Oh, okay. Feel like the homeowners are in agreement with this?
I think so, yes, sir.
We going to make any of them mad? Am I going to be getting any phone calls?
I don't think so.
All right, need a motion, or I'll assume I've got a motion from you. Motion by Commissioner Parker,
second.
second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 18, consider and possibly approve Precinct 1 to sell surplus equipment, specifically a Ford TN70 tractor and one Big Tex utility trailer. Commissioner Riddle?
That trailer was a repo, I think, from the Sheriff's Department, and the commissioner before me had it repaired and rebuilt and bought new tires for it, 8 new tires, and they've been sitting there. No one's used it in all that time, and I haven't used it and don't see any need that I'm going to use it. So we need to sell it. It's just tires have rotted on it. It's been, I don't know how long it's been there. Well, Boggs did it, and he's 4 years, and I've been there 4 years, 3 years, and something. So 7 years, 8 years, it's sat there, and the tires have rotted. I'm sure they'll start busting if somebody fills them up. But anyway, they look good, and I think we should get rid of it. And then the tractor, I bought the one from Parker was selling, and this is the one I got replaced.
You upgraded and now selling the
Right. This is the old
older,
one.
tired one.
Yeah.
Are y'all still using that gooseneck
That
trailer?
gooseneck trailer, yeah.
Y'all still
We still
use
use it to pull
I'll
that.
just leave it there. Because I was thinking about it, if it wasn't being used, because we use it to pull a packer down.
We use packer, we use pull packer, yeah.
Okay. How are you gonna sell these?
I don't know. The guy from Action Express
Online
is going to
auction?
come look at it, probably
Okay.
auction.
All right, I'll consider that a motion from Commissioner Riddle. Need a second? Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of approval of selling those two items, say aye. Aye. Item number 19 is consider and possibly approve travel and seminars.
You want to read each one of them? Most of them are from the sheriff. Do you need to read all of them? I suppose you do.
I've got, you need to switch your tape.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. This is slow, too.
It is, or you are?
Well, a little bit of both.
Deborah out.
Okay, ma'am. She's having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just get that thing up close.
Okay.
All right, the first, all these items, these first few are from Sheriff Ingram. The first is to send Deputies Brown, Davis, Durant, and Orr, and dispatchers Hodges and Fail to Spanish for law enforcement. This is, where is this done? It doesn't indicate a destination. Is this done locally or online, or? Okay. Okay. And is it $60 for each one of those persons? You think it's $10 times the 6? Okay. Because it broke it down by department. I had $40 and $20. Christy, do you know about that? Not sure. $10 apiece times 6 people. That's the first item. The second item is to send Andrea Miller, the records clerk and evidence tech. You have to help me with this one. TAPEIT. What is that? You have any idea? Okay, we hope it's legitimate, huh? Okay. San Marcos, this is an expensive one, it better be. San Marcos mandatory training, October 20, 21, 22, 23. Registration of $331, meals $180, hotel, motel cost of $460. We'll take a county vehicle, so it'll be $971.25 plus fuel. The next one is to send dispatcher Ashlyn Lesher to NTCC for the state exam for telecommunicator. $25 registration cost is all. Okay. Okay. Our other dispatcher, Kaylin Davila, basic telecommunicator course, $75 for the registration plus a test fee of $25. That's a total of $100 for Kaylin. The next one, also from Sheriff Ingram, Deputies Craig Brown, Scott Wildy, Tracy Hayes, Woody Hughes, to go to Child Abuse Training Conference in Winsboro. $40 registration plus $40 in reporting fees to cover those 4, total of $80. Then we move on to Deborah Abston, our district clerk, would like to attend Fall Regional Meeting in Longview, mandatory training. September 23rd is the one-day date. $20 registration and $62 worth of travel mileage for a total of $82.60. Clerk Joan Newman would like to attend CDCAT. What's that? Okay, well, you have to be able to quote what those letters are to be approved. Okay, the same one that Deborah's going to. Fall meeting in Longview, one day on the 23rd, $20 registration and mileage, $76 total. The last one is Luann Rollins, our county agent, would like to go to National and State 4-H Food Challenge, the 28th and 29th. Don't know where it is. She didn't tell me where she's going. End of September, the 28th and 29th, traveling on the 27th and the 29th, $105 per diem meals, $250 in hotel will be split with the Franklin County agent, about $125 each. And then taking a personal vehicle with no miles claimed. So maybe she's riding with someone else. Total approximate cost, $230. That's all I have.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion
travel
by
seminars.
Commissioner Hinton for approval on the travel and seminars.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
Also, I had submitted for my deputies to go with me to the long trip, but our meals are provided. I don't know.
No associated cost to them then?
There's $20 and no other associated costs. Meals are provided.
Okay. I didn't have that in my pile of travel and seminars, but I don't see any reason we can't add that on there, and I'll sign that one later. So that'd be an additional $20 times how many? 4 deputies. You'll all ride together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you close the office on a day like that?
Yeah, the training is going to give us teachers training or something we need. There's only 3 representatives in the state who actually train district clerk and their deputies, and we've, they just had a really big retirement and.
Yeah.
And,
But on the 23rd, that office will be closed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll add that to my.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of approving all of these travel seminar expense requests, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 20, approve oral and written reports.
They include both the $20,000 that we moved back from general fund, and $1 million that we moved from construction back over the county. So all of the
Any comments on that fund balance? It's too good.
Well, remember, 9/20
Well, I know, but still, let's,
and we do have, we do have another, I think we'll finish right around 6 weeks. We do have 2 more weeks of expenses coming in, a lot of expenses. Precincts, be a little higher this time of year. We'll have payroll, have 2 more payroll.
Take care of.
So I'm gonna have 2 more payroll. Yes, first payroll for the next budget year won't be until October 15th, so 2 more payrolls, one today.
oh, okay.
One,
Make a motion to approve reports.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker for approval of the oral and written reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 21, consider possibly approve the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton, Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Item number 22, approved budget amendments.
That's number 52 and number 53. Number 52 is on Blue Construction. That is the last paid invoice that we got. We always adjust to their numbers. And then it also includes the $1 million transfer out. And then number 53 is the $1 million transfer into the INS fund.
No revenue or expense impact there. All right, any questions on these two?
Make a motion to approve budget amendments.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton. Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 23, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to pay our bills. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And lastly, closing comments. I'll start with Commissioner Riddle.
I don't have any.
Commissioner Fields.
One thing I have is we just need to remember our Jamboree. It's going to be October the 16th through the 24th at the county park. If you have not been to it, try it. You'll love it. A lot of good picking and singing goes on out there, and a lot of people come out and enjoy it. It's free. It costs nothing.
And you stay either in your own camper or your tent or your
We have
motorhome?
28 campsites out there, and it's a minimum fee for water and electricity. If you do that, they're usually filled up pretty quick. We do have campsites that cost nothing, and the restrooms, and they just, if you like things like that, the picking and singing that goes on out there is wonderful. I highly recommend you to do it, and it's free, and it's part of it's our county park, so.
Are you and Stephanie going? Not this year. I actually have heard what a good time it is out there, but I did wonder how many they can hold out there in the way of overnight
It depends
stays.
if it's raining and bad or something like this. Of course, they try to do it on that particular weekend. They come in, they sit down, they pick and sing and kind of get the campsite set up. And
Does it
if
fill
the
up?
weather is nice, there may be 200 or 300 people out there. No, you don't have to be a camper. You can just.
But if you are a
free
camp, do
charge.
they fill up the campsites?
The campsites are filled up, probably the 17th they'll be filled.
Okay.
I mean, with electricity and water. Now, we have campsites where you can set tents and stuff like this. You just don't have water and electricity.
Okay.
And that's free. That doesn't cost anything. But it
Okay,
does
my only comments would be, we've got 3 hearings coming up in the next week, 2 tax rate hearings and 1 budget hearing, and that will be, we will finish those up on the 28th, 2 weeks from today. Yeah, well, I know that's when we'll finish up and vote on the budget and finalize the tax rate. A Monday and a Thursday. A week from today will be a morning meeting, and then that following Thursday will be the 21st, 24th, and 28th. So next Monday at 9 a.m., the following Thursday, 3 days later at 6 p.m., and then our evening, 6 p.m., Commissioners Court on the 28th.
What is the budget hearing on that Monday morning too?
Yes.
So Monday morning is going to have to be the budget hearing and the first tax rate.
Correct.
Thursday night will be the second tax rate.
That's correct.
Then on the Monday, the 28th, at 9.
Say that again. Monday, the 21st, that's...
Next Monday, the 21st.
We're not doing 2 things there. You're having you have a final hearing on the 28th.
24th.
No? There's no hearings on the 28th? Okay.
Meetings to approve.
Because we have had hearings on that last day, but this time we're doing it prior to that. So Monday the 24th, Monday the 21st, Thursday, the 24th, and then final vote at Commissioners Court the evening of the 28th.
Budget hearing is the 21st also. So now what we'll do is next Monday morning,
That's correct.
Morning meeting.
we're going to have tax rate hearing and a budget hearing
Tax rate hearing.
and a budget hearing. And then Thursday night, we're going to have another tax rate hearing. You have to have two of those.
And budget.
And then the next Monday, you will vote whatever tax rate you set. And budget. I think go with the budget first and tax rate second. It's a particular order you have to do.
Commissioner Hinton.
I just wanted to say that I will not be running for office this next time.
Really?
That's all I have to say.
I have nothing to do.
Okay.
I second that motion.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your attendance, everyone.